Ariel Monroe is dead. 27 years old. Newlywed. Found in a hotel bathtub just hours after saying, "I do." She had a smile that made strangers pause. A voice that could hush the most restless classroom. A heart, too soft, maybe, for a world that devours softness. She was supposed to be safe now. Loved. Married. But the last door she ever closed was in a suite with rose petals on the bed, and blood on the floor. Before the scream, before the silence, before the lie, there was Ariel. And she believed in forever. Ariel Monroe stands beneath a canopy of white orchids, sunlight filtering through lace. She's glowing. Not the kind of glow you fake with makeup or lighting, but the kind that blooms from within. From believing that love can fix what's broken. She's surrounded by laughter. Her bridesmaids swirl around her like a moving frame, pinning curls, adjusting silk, pouring champagne. Her mother snaps photos. Her maid of honor, Bree, peeks at the vows she's handwriting. Ariel bites her lip as she writes, "I promise to be your peace in chaos. Your home in the storm." It's quiet in her hotel suite. Soft jazz hums in the background. A candle flickers next to her ring box. There's a faint stain on her wrist, half hidden beneath a pearl bracelet. Bree catches it. "You okay?" she asks. Ariel doesn't flinch. Just smiles. "Oh, yeah. I fell into the cabinet last night trying to pack too fast." It sounds rehearsed. Later, she walks through the middle school hall for the last time before the wedding. Children wave. A colleague hugs her. But her eyes linger on her phone. A text notification, "Darius, why haven't you answered yet? You're not too busy for me, are you?" She types a reply, then deletes it. At the final dress fitting, the veil is too long. The shoes too tight. But Ariel stares at herself in the mirror, not at the dress, not at the makeup. Just her eyes. The corners of her mouth lift into a practiced smile. And then, for just a second, it slips. She thought she was walking into forever. But that night, she would never walk out. If this story grips you already, subscribe to Shocking True Crime Saga, where we unravel real darkness, one shocking tale at a time. The first time Ariel sees Darius, she's standing in line at a coffee shop downtown. A rainy Tuesday. She's late for work, umbrella dripping at her feet, scrolling through lesson plans on her phone. He's ahead of her. Turns. Smiles. Says something about the weather. She barely looks up. Just nods politely. Then he gestures to the cashier. "Her order's on me." She starts to protest, but he's already pulling his card out with a practiced grin, like he's done this before. The barista giggles. Ariel doesn't. "It's fine," he says. "Beautiful women shouldn't pay for coffee. It's not charming. It's rehearsed." She takes the cup anyway, mumbles a thank you, and walks out with her head low, her shoulders tense. She thinks that's the end of it. But it's not. The next week, she's at the bookstore on Jefferson, flipping through a stack of poetry books near the window. He's there again. Same grin. Same posture. No coffee this time, just casual conversation about Rupi Kaur and Neruda. She hesitates, but nods along. "Crazy running into you again," he says. It doesn't feel that crazy. It happens again at the farmer's market. And again at a wine-tasting Bree drags her to. By the fourth time, she stops pretending it's a coincidence. Darius has answers for everything. "I live near here. My sister teaches too. Maybe we're just meant to bump into each other." He starts sending roses to her school. A small bouquet first. Then a dozen. Then a box of chocolates. Notes tucked inside with quotes from her favorite books, quotes she's only posted online once, years ago. She laughs about it with Bree over lunch. It's sweet, she says. Maybe I'm just not used to being adored. But Bree doesn't laugh. Then, the gifts escalate. Ariel's phone rings. A delivery driver asks her to come outside. A silver ribbon box sits in the back seat of a town car. Inside, a brand new iPhone. 2 days later, a bracelet with her initials etched into gold. And then, a car. A white sedan, parked outside her apartment, keys in a velvet pouch, and a card. For when you don't want to take the bus anymore. She calls him, voice trembling. This is too much. He chuckles on the other end. What's too much about love? Her friends are concerned. One of her coworkers pulls her aside. People who give too much, too fast, they usually want control, not connection. Ariel shrugs it off. He just wants to make me happy. In her journal that night, she writes, he makes me feel seen. I don't know if it's real, but I think I need it to be. She tells herself it's harmless. That being kind is safer than being cold. But behind every gift, was a test. And behind every smile, a plan. It starts with a camera in the hallway. Just a small one. Hidden behind a fake smoke detector above her front door. Darius says it's for protection. Crime in the neighborhood is up, he says. He doesn't want anything to happen to her. And Ariel, already drowning in wedding details and lesson plans, nods without asking questions. But then he adds another. This time, inside. In the living room. Facing the window. For peace of mind, he says. So she installs it. And lets herself believe it's normal. Then he starts showing up. Not calling. Not texting. Just appearing. Once after work, waiting outside her apartment. Once at her classroom door, holding a coffee she didn't ask for. Once inside her kitchen, saying the landlord let him in so he could surprise her with dinner. He always knows where she is. He comments on what she wore to the gym. He knows when she left the grocery store, even though she never posted about going. He references a song she played in her headphones while walking home. A song she hadn't shared with anyone. Not even Bree. At first, she's flattered. Then confused. Then afraid. She brings it up gently. You're always around. How do you know where I am all the time? Darius laughs like she told a joke. It's not hard. You're a creature of habit, baby. I just pay attention. At dinner with her father one weekend, the topic turns to Darius. Her dad leans in, concerned. You're different lately. Quiet. Edgy. Are you sure this is what you want? Ariel bristles. Forces a smile. He just really loves me, Dad. That's all. But deep down, something's unraveling. She skips book club. Stops responding to texts that ask too many questions. Deletes her location sharing settings. But somehow, Darius still knows. One night, she comes home late after grading papers at a cafe. She doesn't tell him. But there's a note on her kitchen counter. Long day. Written in his handwriting. She locks the door that night. Bolts it. Pushes a chair in front of it, even though the building's secure. The next morning, her laptop screen turns on by itself. Her cursor moves on its own. Then her webcam light flickers. She slams it shut. Calls Bree. But doesn't say what happened. Darius begins suggesting she quit teaching after the wedding. You don't need that stress, he says. I can take care of you. You can focus on the house, on us. Ariel says no. At first. Then maybe. Then stops answering emails from the school board about her contract renewal. She tells herself it's just love. Just concern. Just a man trying to build a life. But Darius isn't building a life with her. He's building a cage. He knows what she had for lunch. What time she arrived. What song she played walking home. And still, she doesn't run. The wedding planning turns into a battleground. Ariel picks lavender for the table runners. Darius changes them to deep navy. She chooses a gospel quartet for the ceremony. He replaces them with a violinist, his choice, his payment, his rules. He sends emails to the planner without telling her. Reroutes calls. Cancels meetings. Claims vendors aren't professional enough. When she confronts him, he smiles. "Baby, I'm just taking the pressure off your shoulders." But it's not pressure he's lifting. It's control he's collecting. One week, she interviews a photographer. Young, funny, brilliant with natural light. He calls her refreshing. Darius is at the meeting too, silent for most of it. The next morning, she receives a message, "We're no longer a good fit for your event. Best wishes." When she asks why, Darius shrugs. "He crossed a line. Looked at you wrong. I fixed it." She doesn't argue. She just stares at the RSVP list for 20 minutes, trying to remember why she said yes. Then, her emails disappear. Not all of them. Just the private ones. Conversations with Bree. Notes from her sister. A message thread with her principal about taking time off after the wedding. She checks her settings. Every message. Forwarded automatically to Darius's account. She doesn't cry at first. Just sits there, hands trembling on the keyboard. It hits her in the shower that night. Hot water, steaming tiles, knees folded to her chest. "I just want to be happy," she whispers. But the silence around her doesn't answer back. Her bachelorette night is supposed to be a break. Bree books a lounge downtown. Small group. Safe. She promises Darius she won't stay late. But he's there anyway. Not inside. Outside. Parked across the street. Engine off. Watching through the tinted glass of his car. Bree notices first. "Ariel," she says, pulling her aside. "That's him, right? Is he following us?" Ariel says nothing. Just stares at the shadow behind the wheel. She doesn't remember the rest of the night. The next morning, there's a box on her doorstep. Inside, a velvet pouch. A diamond necklace. Cold against her fingers. A note tucked underneath. "You're mine now. Always." She puts it back in the box and hides it in the drawer. Later that day, she opens her calendar and deletes the final fitting. Cancels the lunch with Bree. Reschedules the trial makeup session. Darius calls her 2 hours later. "Thank you for listening," he says. She never told him she canceled. She stares at the wall as he talks. A tight smile pulling at the corners of her mouth. It isn't love anymore. It isn't even obsession. It's surveillance. And it has gone too far. The call comes by accident. She doesn't mean to dial Marcus. She means to call the florist. Her thumb slips. And suddenly, his name is ringing. She hasn't spoken to him in almost a year. He answers on the second ring. Same voice. Calm. Familiar. "Ariel?" She freezes. "I didn't mean to," she starts. But he just says, "It's good to hear you." She doesn't say much. Just that she's getting married. That it's happening soon. There's a long pause on his end. "I hope he sees you," he says. "I mean really sees you." Her throat tightens. The words stick. "Thank you," she whispers. I hope I'm making the right choice. They don't say goodbye. The call just ends. That evening, Ariel walks to the edge of her neighborhood. Beyond the sidewalks, there's a stretch of open field. Overgrown, golden, untouched by development. She stands there, barefoot in the grass. The wind tugging at the veil she brought just to see how it feels in open air. The sun is soft. The sky, endless. For a moment, she closes her eyes. Arms open, dress brushing her ankles. She laughs, light, breathy, unguarded. It's the first time in weeks her face moves without effort. The first time her smile isn't a disguise. Later that night, Bree finds her. Back in the hotel suite. On the floor. The room dim, champagne still corked. Ariel is curled up near the foot of the bed, still in her slip. She's holding the necklace Darius gave her. Not wearing it. Just holding it like it might burn through her skin if she let it touch her neck again. Her hands are trembling. No words. Just shallow breaths and the sound of her trying not to sob loud enough to wake the other girls. Bree kneels beside her. Doesn't ask questions. Just stays. Outside, the city moves. Horns, laughter, music. Inside, a woman clutches a chain and wonders if it will ever feel like love again. It was the first time she'd laughed in weeks. The last time she'd feel safe. The hotel suite is perfect, by design. Candlelight flickers on glass. Petals spill across satin sheets. A chilled bottle of champagne sweats in its cradle. Darius made sure every corner of the room whispered luxury. Ariel stands near the window, wrapped in her wedding robe. Her body's here. But her mind, it's pacing. Rehearsing something. She hasn't touched her glass. The day has moved like a dream. Or a performance. Smiles. Vows. Applause. Flashing lights. But now it's just the two of them. Her phone vibrates on the dresser. A text. Unknown number. Do you know who you're marrying? Her blood turns to ice. She stares at the screen for a full minute. Reads it again. And again. Then looks up. Darius is across the room, adjusting the Bluetooth speaker. He's humming. Off key. She turns toward him. Her voice low. Controlled. Why are my emails being forwarded to your account? He doesn't respond. Just straightens up slowly. She repeats the question. He walks toward her, too fast, too calm. You shouldn't be talking to people who confuse you, he says. They don't get what we have. She steps back. Her heart slamming in her chest. You read my private messages. Because I have to. He shouts, voice cracking open. You don't see it yet, but everyone wants to ruin this. I won't let them take you from me. I won't lose you. He punches the wall. Not near her. But loud enough to shake the painting off its hook. She flinches. And runs. Into the bathroom. Locks the door. She's trembling now. Her wedding ring presses hard against her finger as she grips the knob from the inside. On the other side of the door, he's breathing heavy. Then comes the knocking. Not a tap. Not a plea. A pounding rhythm that rattles the hinges. Ariel. Open the door. She doesn't move. You're making it worse, he growls. I'm trying here. Then silence. Long hollow. A knock. Softer this time. I'm sorry, he says, voice suddenly tender. I got scared. Let's start over, okay? Come on, baby. It's our wedding night. Don't ruin it. She presses her hand to her mouth to keep from making a sound. On the bathroom counter, her makeup bag is open. Mascara wand sticking out. Lipstick rolled to the edge. A bottle of perfume tipped on its side. She doesn't know how long she's in there. But she knows this, she had finally said no. But in his mind, no meant war. It is 3:14 a.m. when Darius exits the hotel suite. The hallway is empty. Carpet muffles his steps. His shirt is unbuttoned at the collar. No visible scratches. No signs of panic. He moves with purpose, like a man who just finished a long conversation, or tucked someone into bed. The camera catches it. His face. Calm. Smiling. He walks to the elevator. Presses the button. Waits. Glances at his reflection in the polished chrome and adjusts his cuff. The elevator doors close. The rest is silence. At 10:06 a.m., the maid knocks twice. No answer. She has a schedule. She lets herself in. The suite is still. The champagne bottle sits where it was left. Petals now wilted. The air thick with a perfume that clings too hard to the drapes. She calls out once. Then twice. She finds Ariel in the bathroom. The tub is full. Overflowing slightly at the edges. The faucet still dripping. Ariel is in the water. Her body curled. Limbs slack. Hair floating like ink in clear glass. She's naked. Bruised along the ribs and collarbone. A smear of blood clings to her lip, where her teeth cut through skin, either from impact, or from trying to scream. There are no signs of forced entry. No shattered glass. No overturned furniture. Nothing broken. The door was locked from the inside. It's ruled a drowning at first. Then the autopsy reveals the truth. Blunt force trauma to the back of the skull. A crack just behind the ear. Enough to knock her unconscious. She didn't fight. She never had the chance. They say she drowned while her heart was still beating. Someone made sure of that. The security footage is pulled from the server. Only, the feed from that suite, between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., is gone. Corrupted. Erased. An error, the hotel says. But Darius doesn't wait to contest it. He checks out that morning. Alone. Quiet. Charges paid. Leaves the wedding band in a velvet box on the concierge desk. No note. Just a look. The kind you give when you think no one will ever touch what's yours again. The water was warm. Her skin pale. And the silence, louder than any scream. The headline breaks just after noon. Bride found dead in hotel bathroom, hours after wedding. It spreads fast. A perfect storm for the media. Beautiful woman. Lavish wedding. Mysterious death. No witnesses. Ariel Monroe's name becomes a whisper on every screen. Her face, once tucked in school yearbooks and family albums, now loops endlessly across national news. Her family is blindsided. Her mother arrives at the morgue first. She's strong until they unzip the bag. Then she crumbles. Collapses to the tile, wailing Ariel's name like a prayer that's lost its God. Her father doesn't cry. He just stands there, hands shaking, mumbling, "I told her. I told her something was wrong." Bree doesn't speak at all. The suite is sealed. Yellow tape across the door. Investigators swarm it, walking carefully between petals and candle stubs. The tub is drained. The drain clogs with strands of dark hair. They find her phone, or what's left of it, shoved deep beneath the bed frame. The screen spiderwebbed. The SIM card removed. On the bathroom mirror, a streak of blood. Thin. Deliberate. A smudge near the center as if a hand slid down it, Slow. Darius issues a statement through his lawyer. We were deeply in love. I'm devastated. She must have slipped. It was an accident. She was tired. But the detectives don't believe him. There's no water on the floor. No sign of a fall. The pattern of the injury doesn't match the tub's angle. And the missing footage from the hotel server, just that window of time, isn't a coincidence. They track his location the night after. He isn't grieving in silence. He's at his ex-fiancée's house. The same woman who left him 2 years ago. The one who changed her number, moved cities, filed a restraining order that expired 6 months before. He's calm when they arrest him. Almost relieved. As if this was the chapter he'd been writing toward all along. The officers cuff him. He doesn't resist. Just says, "You'll see. You'll all see." But what they find in his apartment confirms it. Photos of Ariel. Dozens. Some printed. Some torn. Notes in the margins, her routines, habits, passwords, old emails, journal excerpts. A folder labeled, "Forever." He wasn't planning a life. He was preserving a possession. Ariel's voice is gone. But her last breath carried a name. And it wasn't his. The courtroom smells like dust and old wood. Darius sits at the defense table in a navy suit. A new haircut. Fresh shave. The performance of a man who believes presentation might undo blood. He pleads not guilty. The words are steady. Practiced. His attorney blames stress. Says he was under pressure. That he was traumatized from a past betrayal. That Ariel's death was a tragic accident, misinterpreted by grief. But the jury listens to more than words. They see the bruises in the photographs. Hear the desperation in Ariel's final voicemails. Watch the footage of him exiting the hotel suite with that smile. They hear the hotel manager testify about the erased security footage. They see the timeline. And then, they hear the journal. Ariel's handwriting, transcribed and read aloud by her sister. I'm scared of him, but I love who he used to be. The courtroom is silent except for the sound of someone weeping in the back row. It takes the jury 6 hours. Darius is sentenced to life in prison. No possibility of parole. He doesn't flinch. Just stares ahead, as if the trial was never about guilt, only ownership. And now, with her gone, he's convinced he still has the last word. But outside the courtroom, something begins to shift. Ariel's parents, wrecked but resolute, start a foundation in her name. A space for women who feel watched. Controlled. Silenced in the name of love. They name it, Still Hers. Her wedding dress is donated to a shelter program. The stain of her perfume still clings to the fabric. They leave it intact. Let it speak for her. Bree visits the field where Ariel walked alone before her wedding. She stands there with a folded veil in her hands. She doesn't cry. She just watches the grass move in the wind. And listens. There's a silence in the earth. A kind of ache that never leaves. Ariel's story doesn't end with a verdict. It lingers. In every unanswered message. In every laugh she almost had. In every woman who wonders if the love she's receiving is actually a leash. Was it love, or control dressed in affection? And how many warnings do we ignore before it's too late? If you felt this story echo inside you, share it. Not just for Ariel. But for the ones still alive, who haven't figured out how to leave yet. You don't always see danger coming. Sometimes, it holds your hand at the altar. Kisses your forehead goodnight. Says things like, I'm just trying to protect you. And you believe it. Because you want to. Because the alternative is too terrifying to name. Ariel Monroe didn't die because she was careless. She died because she was patient, hopeful, human. Because she believed that maybe, just maybe, if she loved hard enough, the darkness in him would turn into light. But it didn't. And now, she is a name on a gravestone, a headline on a screen, a lesson read too late. So let this story do what her voice no longer can. Let it warn you. Let it wake you. Have you, or someone you love, ever felt watched? Unsafe? Trapped inside something that looks like love but feels like fear? Tell us in the comments. Your story might be the light someone else needs to escape their shadow. And if this story gripped you, if it made your heart beat harder, if it left you with questions, subscribe to Shocking True Crime Saga. Because here, we don't just tell stories. We remind you that danger doesn't always wear a mask. Sometimes, it wears a ring.